Halfway Through the Heat Wrestling Podcast. I am Joe, and I am here today with my co-host, as always, Tom. How you doing?
Doing good.
Good to hear. And today we are going to be talking about, of course, a No Mercy recap that happened over the weekend. We seem to have a lot of these pay-per-view recaps recently. Is it because there's like 150 pay-per-views a year? Possibly. We're also going to get into some news, more Paige and Alberto Del Rio action in the news here for totally different reasons this time. Well, not totally different reasons. The same reasons as always. And more news about Goldberg, which we talked about last week. Of course, more on the TNA Death Watch. And we're also going to say something positive about Raw like we always do. But first, even before we say something positive about Raw, we're going to talk about something way more important than something positive about Raw. Tom, you want to lead into this?
Yeah, if you don't do anything else today, if you don't even listen to the rest of this podcast, stop what you're doing, go over to the Amazon.com, and type in 3 Moves of Doom. And before your very eyes, you'll see a book that contains stories by Joe and myself and popular horror writer Matthew M. Bartlett, all about wrestling, with a horror style, as we might say in Jamaica. You can get it paperback or Kindle if you're outside the U.S. and want to avoid those usurious shipping charges. This is the book we've been talking up for what seems like a long time now. It's finally available for purchase.
Indeed, we've been talking about it, and it's been out for like 2 weeks, maybe. We just only mentioned it at the end of the podcast instead of at the beginning, so you guys possibly didn't realize that the book had come out. But keep in mind that if you, it's not that expensive either. It's $3 on Kindle. You can't go wrong with that.
$3. That's pretty cheap.
$3 American.
That's $1 per story.
That's
and you get all the bonus content for free.
There's awesome bonus content. That is true. So, you don't have to listen to the podcast this week. You can just instead go over to the Amazon and be totally excited by the book.
That's right.
The book won't. The book will be more exciting than the podcast. I can guarantee it.
Obviously, we're biased, but the book is good. I mean, it's pretty good.
It's true. It's normally wouldn't say my own stuff is good, but it's good. It's good this time.
If you like wrestling, and who among us doesn't? Certainly, if you're listening to this, you probably do. If you don't, and you're listening to this, then you've got problems. But if you like wrestling, if you like horror, this is right up your alley. You're going to enjoy this.
That's true. So if you like wrestling and you like horror, maybe that's not a huge crossover market, but it seems like it is.
Potentially. Based on our sales so far, it's not. But you know what? It's early. Things can pick up.
That's kind of true. But hop on the old Amazon, buy the book, and more importantly, write a glowing review.
That would really help us out.
So yeah, that's it before we get into the actual meat of the show. But so we'll get into the positive thing about Raw. So Tom, your positive thing about Raw?
It's actually hard to choose this week because there was a lot of positive stuff about Raw. You know what? I'll go. I liked the first segment, and it was almost all talking. I almost never like a talking segment, but the thing where Sasha Banks came out and talked and did her thing, and then Charlotte came out, and then Rusev came out. I loved it. I thought it was pretty good. It actually got me interested in the Sasha Charlotte feud, which seems like it's been going on for a long time. But I'm now sort of intrigued to see how it turns out, and it also brought home the fact that Roman Reigns, like he's less popular with the WWE audience than Donald Trump is with the American electorate. Like
true.
Rusev is about to destroy Sasha and Charlotte, and then Roman Reigns comes out to save them, which is like classic pro wrestling good guy behavior, and like the crowd boos. They hate him so much. But I enjoyed that segment overall. What about you?
I I think I'm happy with the Titus O'Neil thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He just comes out and loses every week.
Yeah, I also like, even though it's not quite getting old, but it's not new. I like Jericho's list.
Oh yeah, Jericho and his lists are always good. Um, I don't know. There was a lot of good stuff on Raw. It was pretty good this week.
Yeah, they were very strong, and SmackDown I think overall has been the better show. But Raw is coming along really nicely, and cruiserweight stuff was good.
Yeah, that's true. There was more this week, wasn't there? I mean, it felt like more, but maybe. Oh, Well, I guess not. I guess there wasn't more. I was just thinking like, they put Sami Zayn and Neville together, and I just assume it's like the cruiserweight thing, even though
Right. Yeah.
they're not.
And also Sin Cara joined the cruiserweights.
Yeah, Sin Cara is now a cruiserweight.
Not really sold on the notion that Sin Cara is under 205 pounds, but whatever.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, okay. Well, suspension of disbelief. But it's really weird to see Drew Gulak on Raw. Like, it's good weird, but it's unpredictable what wrestling is these days. You'll turn on the TV and there's some guy who you might be able to see, for $15 in a firehouse somewhere, and I think that's great.
Works for me too. I can't complain about that.
No, and hopefully, Gulak is able to parlay it into a more steady gig. But yeah, so Raw was pretty good this week. Not much to complain about. I do want to talk about, I guess, going right into the news. One thing that we learned on Raw that was not so positive.
Oh,
it's pretty clear now that Goldberg is going to be coming back to wrestle Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, we talked about this last week, but that's gonna suck. God, that's gonna suck. That's gonna be so bad. There's no way that's gonna be a good match. I mean, first, there are no good Goldberg matches.
Right.
I can't. Like, we're still willing to look at the matches that Kevin Nash said were his best matches. We haven't done that yet, but we're going to watch them because there's still hope that Kevin Nash had good matches. But if someone were to write in the comments below, like, Goldberg had an awesome match here, I would not even look at it. I wouldn't even believe you. I would just assume you're lying and continue on with my life, because I don't think that's possible.
It's because if you've seen one Goldberg match, you've kind of seen them all.
Basically. I mean, he has like a bunch of matches for sure, but most of them are like 2-minute squash matches.
Yeah, he had a real. We talked about this a little bit last week, but last week it was only like a terrifying possibility that we didn't firmly believe in, whereas now it's basically a certainty.
Yeah, last week it was a terrifying possibility. This week it's a terrifying reality.
Yeah, Paul Heyman came out and cut a promo and basically challenged Goldberg to a fight, and supposedly it's going to be happening in Survivor Series. Goldberg will be making an appearance on Raw next week. Goldberg, who is 49 years old at this point, And I was in the crowd at God, what the hell was it called? It was, I don't know, Extreme Judgment or so, whatever the pay-per-view was. Goldberg's first WWE pay-per-view where he wrestled The Rock. It was April of 2003 in Worcester, Massachusetts, and I was in the crowd. And let me tell you, Goldberg did not look great, and that was 13 years ago. How's he going to look now when he's been out of wrestling for, what, 11 or 12 years?
He's going to look awful. I assume he's going to come out and he's going to be much smaller than he was.
Right.
I couldn't imagine he's been like keeping up his physique for no reason for the past 15 years. I mean, possibly he has, who knows? But seems really unlikely that he's going to come out and be like even remotely as the same size, and also like even remotely believable as an opponent for Brock Lesnar.
And I'm sure he's, in decent shape and everything, but is he going to be like in credible wrestling match shape, especially wrestling Brock Lesnar?
No. The answer is no.
Yeah, the answer is no. I mean, and as it was happening, I was on wrestling Twitter, and there were tons of people who were getting all excited, and they were like, "Oh, I'm going to be at Survivor Series. I'm going to go so crazy during Goldberg's entrance." What are you excited about?
These are the same people who are excited for the Shane McMahon Undertaker match.
Yes.
There's no way that it could be different people. They're just they never learn.
And I don't want to get a reputation as people who, say everything's going to be bad. I think we set out trying to like everything,
But
I'm a wrestling fan. I enjoy wrestling.
Well, like, there's only so much you can do with being positive about people who are definitely not going to be doing something good. And
that's the thing.
Goldberg has never really had any good matches that are like good wrestling matches. So, I mean, unless they're going to do like a 2-minute squash match, it's not going to exactly be a, exciting thing to watch. I don't know what people expect out of this match. Like, it's not like Goldberg is Dean Malenko. It's not like he can do he's not the master of 1,000 holds. He's the master of 2 moves. Like he.
I mean, Dean Malenko, he's not even Sting.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, jeez.
He doesn't have there's, and also the moves that he has, like, he's at 49 years old. Like, is he going to get Brock Lesnar up in a jackhammer?
Seems unlikely.
It seems very unlikely. And Lesnar is good at what he does, but I mean, can Lesnar really carry someone to a good match who's not capable of a good match?
No. Well, like, the thing with Brock Lesnar is that, like, Brock Lesnar is not a particularly great wrestler either. And that's not to say that he's not talented. It's that he doesn't, like, he has one style, and it's just go crazy on people. It's not like a very psychological wrestling method. You know what I mean? Like, it's not exactly a storytelling wrestling match kind of thing. It's more of just like Brock Lesnar is a monster and he does monstrous things. So he just comes out and suplexes you 20 times and then that's the match. Like, he can do. He's not a bad wrestler in the way that Goldberg is a bad wrestler, in that, like, he will legit injure you on purpose or whatever, or by accident of just being terrible. He won't, like, I don't think Brock Lesnar has put anybody out of wrestling forever, unlike Goldberg. But and I think, like, Brock Lesnar can accurately perform the wrestling moves without being dangerous, but it doesn't that alone doesn't make you a good wrestler.
No, when you think about it, his style is really appropriate for, you know, combat sports, which he's done very well at in MMA. But like in MMA, the point is to get the fight over quickly, is to win as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And in pro wrestling, that's obviously not the point, unless you're the Ultimate Warrior or Goldberg. You know, the idea is you have like a match is a story that unfolds gradually, and you know whether you're doing 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 or 20 minutes, the idea is you can adapt your style to whatever you're supposed to do, and ideally, especially in a big dollar match like Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar, you don't want it to be over in 3 minutes. Like the crowd has come to get their money's worth, and whereas boxing or MMA or something, that's not what happens. In wrestling, you can give them their money's worth, right? Because it's predetermined. So, but like, it's one thing if you have a wrestler who, like Terry Funk, can carry anyone to a good match, or AJ Styles for that matter, someone like that. And then you can put them in with like an old timer or a part timer or something, and like it's going to be at least a decent match. But Lesnar's whole style is based on this idea where he just comes in and dominates really quickly in hopes of getting the win.
Yeah.
And with that,
like that's Goldberg's style too. Like,
yeah, exactly. How are these two guys? When they were in their prime, maybe, but I don't think they were ever in their prime at the same time.
Yeah, they weren't because, there's a bit of an age difference.
And I just don't see... Like, I'm honestly surprised that people think this is going to be a good match. I don't know why I am, because we said we knew there were going to be people who were excited about this just for the nostalgia factor, but honestly, what do you think this match is going to be like?
It's going to be awful. That's what it's going to be. It's just going to be like... It's going to be terrible. It's going to be worse than the Undertaker Brock Lesnar match.
Yes, agreed completely.
And those were terrible.
Yeah, those were bad matches.
Those were awful matches. Those were terrible. Those were like painful to watch. But even then, this will be worse. There's no possible way that this is going to be good.
And yet,
unless Buff Bagwell comes out for the save. That's all I'm saying.
I'd be so excited. And yet it seems inevitable. From what was just speculation, and honestly, because of the age factor and all that, like I thought that, for whatever reason, I thought this match was unlikely to happen. But Gizmodo made an interesting point when they were writing about it today or yesterday. This is really happening because of a video game. Like, that's why we're getting this match.
It's true. It's because of the WWE 2K17 game coming out. And, like, it only happened because, like, there was all the advertising that was, like, going nuts about, like, oh, if you pre-order, you'll get the Goldberg DLC for free. And, like, that kind of thing. And I don't even know if that's what it is. Is Goldberg DLC or he's just in the game?
He's DLC.
Okay. So it must be free Goldberg DLC if you pre-order, right? That kind of thing is like why Goldberg has been so prominently featured. But then, like, because he was so prominently featured, people were like, oh, Goldberg's coming back, even though that wasn't the actual plan. And then now Goldberg's actually coming back because there's so much hype for it. Thanks, EA Sports.
Of all the people who could have been hyped.
Yeah, jeez. Should have put the Rock and Roll Express in there. I'd be more excited for that.
Well, we'll get to that. That's foreshadowing. Yeah, I just don't understand the. I mean, to me, I'm sort of. I mean, so all right. There's excitement around Goldberg, and they want to bring him back. Like, they're not going to put him on the mic.
Yeah, well, I mean, why would they? They never put Goldberg on the mic, even in WCW. Like, you can't think of any times where he had any long speaking points. Mostly, he was a dude who was punching through windows on limousines and shit. Like, he wasn't exactly a talker.
So I guess they're like, well, people want Goldberg, but it's not like we can have him come out and be the commissioner or something. So let's see if Goldberg is capable of wrestling match.
It's gonna be. I can't imagine that. I don't know what he's gonna do. Like, what are they gonna do with him? Are they gonna have him like do practice matches before the thing just so like he can get off the ring rust or whatever? Like, what is going on? There's got to be something. They're not gonna just let him go.
Yeah, I know. That's a good point. Like he's not gonna like start off in NXT or something. I don't know what they're gonna do with him.
I assume it's just like a one shot deal.
Oh my god, I hope so.
I mean, well, otherwise, what are you going to do with him? What he's going to still be around after he obviously loses to Brock Lesnar?
Oh, yeah. Like, are they going to have like a build-up match, or is it just going to be a series of angry promos?
Series of angry promos, I think, is the plan. Actually,
I think that's the plan.
Where they're never on the show together until SummerSlam.
Survivor Series.
Oh, yeah, Survivor Series. Whatever.
Well, so that's some news. There's also some other news about WWE's stars. It's worse, probably, I guess, than Goldberg coming back. Paige has been suspended again for wellness policy violation.
Yes.
This is her second suspension, and it is a 60-day suspension. The first one was 30 days. She tweeted out about this after this was announced. She tweeted, same shit, different day. Kids, please don't get prescriptions or doctor's notes, not acceptable. And then rules apply depending on your status. So if you follow British wrestling Twitter, as I certainly do, you'll know that her father, British wrestler Ricky Knight, commented and said that this is because she has a neck injury and was prescribed painkillers for it, but painkillers are not allowed under the wellness policy. I don't know if any of that's true, but that is what the Paige camp is saying about this second suspension.
It seems there's probably like some types of painkillers that are probably not allowed. You'd assume that it's like oxycontins, things that are like opioid, I guess, in nature.
Yeah, like I can't imagine that the WWE has prohibited the use of like those super doses of ibuprofen. But maybe, yeah, hydrocodone, oxycodone, those kinds of things. Which, I mean, is, it's questionable, I guess. If a doctor is prescribing something, who is the WWE to second guess it? And again, we don't even know if this is the case, but it does sound reasonable that they would say, okay, you can't take opioid painkillers because it's easy to become addicted to. And those things are overprescribed also.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's possible that it's something like that. And then it would, I mean, then both explanations would make sense because, like, oh, she would have violated the wellness policy, but also, like, it could be something prescribed from the doctor.
Yep. And it could be the kind of thing where, WWE tells people, hey, if you're going to the doctor, just, you can't take these. Tell the doctor you're not allowed to take these prescriptions, and then if you take them anyway, then maybe you're violating the wellness policy. However, presumably everyone knows the ground rules.
Yeah. So, who knows? It's, but it could be one of those things where, like, oh, it's some name you don't recognize. Like where...
That could be.
And then, like, you take the medicine, and then it happens to be, like, one that you're just like, oh, I never knew this was a, some kind of wellness policy violating medicine. That, I never heard of this before. But whatever. It could just be an actual wellness policy thing. And
it could be.
This is an excuse. Could be. You never know. Whatever.
What do you think this means for Paige's career? We should say that She is one of the stars of Total Divas, of course, and that includes the upcoming 6th season, which premieres on November 16th. So she's at least tied into the WWE through that. But I mean, is she on her way out?
I'd assume that she probably is. I mean, it seems really unlikely that, after like consecutive suspensions, that she's gonna like want to stay around. I mean, what is she gonna do otherwise?
Right. I mean, she has not been inside a ring in a while, and in a lot of ways, she seems to have been overtaken by the other women who kind of came up behind her from NXT. And I don't know, even though she's incredibly young, she's like 24 and has not been around for a huge amount of time, she's starting to feel kind of like yesterday's woman.
It's true. I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do with her. I don't know what. I mean, honestly, if she left the WWE, what is she gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, she could go back to wrestle in England, or she could go back to being in England. She could go to the indie circuit. I mean, there are fewer options for women on the indie circuit than there are for men, of course. She would obviously be a big draw among women wrestlers on the indie circuit. Probably she could do something in Japan, whether with Stardom or somebody. But again, the options are more limited. Like you can't. There's no like women's wrestling equivalent of New Japan, and New Japan doesn't really have a women's division.
Yeah, that's true. There's not really. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess you have Stardom.
Yeah, Ice Ribbon. They're women promotions, but they're not like big money promotions. And it's the same kind of thing everywhere you go. Like Paige could go back and immediately become the top star in Shine or Shimmer, but that's only going to take you so far. I mean, she could leave altogether. She's done some acting. She could pursue something else altogether. I mean, she is 24. It's not like this is the only thing she knows how to do. She's been on TV in England and shows, and she did that horrible Santa Claus movie with The Miz. Well, I shouldn't say it's horrible. I haven't seen it, so I don't want to prejudge.
Whatever. I've never seen it either, but I'm gonna go on a limb and say it's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's horrible, let's be honest. But, so I don't know. I mean, like, I guess that's the question. What does she do? She's, of course, dating Alberto Del Rio, who is now to be known as Alberto El Presidente.
Why couldn't he just go back to Alberto El Patron?
He's now El Presidente. It's an election year, and Alberto is now our president.
Well, good. That's I'm for Alberto El Presidente.
Yeah, actually, I'd prefer him to either of the major party candidates.
Me too. Although he may possibly be on the same level of honesty as both of them, because there are some questions about his stabbing story.
That's a good segue to our next news item. What is going on with Alberto El Presidente? So last time or 2 weeks ago, we talked about how he missed the big AAA pay-per-view Heroes and Immortals, and AAA was like lighting him up on social media, and then he said, "Oh, actually, it's because I got stabbed." And then he posted pictures of knife wounds, and everyone assumed they were his knife wounds, and said he was attacked in San Antonio, and went to the hospital, and that's why he missed the AAA show. And AAA apologized, and they went back and retracted everything on social media and said, no, he's a good guy. Maybe that didn't happen.
Yeah, I don't know where the pictures would have come from, though.
Right.
Did you normally have people around that you can take pictures of their stab wounds? And like obviously he'd have to show up at AAA and again in the near future. I mean, it's not like they wouldn't be able to look at his arm and be like, "Hey, your arm is magically healed." He has to have the wounds, right?
Maybe he wrestled in England over the weekend and had tape on his arms where the wounds were supposed to be, but nobody saw any wounds. He never took the tape off. Pro Wrestling Sheet editor Ryan Satin. The stabbing supposedly happened in San Antonio, and so Ryan Satin, who actually has a journalism background, unlike a lot of wrestling dirt sheet people, he actually just called the San Antonio Police Department, which is what you would do to get the incident report, and they said we don't have any stabbings reported that weekend. So then, speaking to a Mexican newspaper called The Record, Alberto Del Rio Alberto El Presidente gave another version of what happened. He said previously he had said that there was like a road rage incident. So like that Alberto was in his car, somebody bumped into him, they got out to talk about it, got in an argument, the guy pulls out a knife and attacked him, right? And the guy drove off. But then talking to this Mexican newspaper, he said what happened was he was in the parking lot of a restaurant with Paige, and a homeless guy came up to them with a knife and started to and attacked him. So that's a completely different version of what happened.
It is a completely different version.
And Ryan Satin also mentioned that the pictures of the knife wounds were sort of strange because they're like 5 straight lines, which would be odd if you're in a fight with a drunken homeless man and his knife. So it feels weird to because everybody saw those pictures on social media of the knife wounds. It feels weird to call that into question. At the same time, all right, so the police have no record of any stabbing happening. Okay. And you've given 2 totally different versions of the story as to what happened. It was either a road rage incident gone wrong, which is actually what did in real life happen to Jamie Noble, or it was a homeless drunk guy who attacked at a restaurant. So
maybe it was a homeless drunk restaurant. How about that?
It was a restaurant for drunken homeless people?
No, just the restaurant itself was homeless and drunk.
I mean, that's always possible.
That's not even remotely possible.
I guess the question is, did Alberto Del Rio actually get stabbed? What happened?
It's a good question. Maybe he's just a cutter.
Maybe it was some other guy. I don't know. Maybe he just like Googled Mexican knife wounds or something. The point is, this is so weird. Is it possible he just faked the whole thing because he blew off AAA and then like didn't want to completely burn bridges with them?
It's possible. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, potentially you could make realistic-looking knife wounds with special effects makeup.
Yeah, you could do that.
So I don't know, but the one on his the big cut on his head didn't seem fake though. I mean, it was like in.
Although I should say it's a cut on someone's head.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So yeah, who knows what's going on? I don't know why you would fake that, but also don't know if you actually were the victim of a knife attack, why you would not tell the police, unless it was like in the middle of something that was also illegal. Like if you get robbed, if you're buying drugs and you get robbed, you're not going to go to the police and say, "I got ripped off while buying drugs."
Yeah.
Not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying that's an example of a time when if you're a victim of a crime, you would not go to the police.
That's true, but if you're also you're also with your girlfriend and you've just been recently suspended for your wellness policy violations and you're out doing something shady that might be related to your wellness policy violation, then you probably wouldn't contact the police.
Possible. That's possible. That's something that could hypothetically happen. This is a mystery I feel like we'll never get to the bottom of.
So there's probably like I'm willing to say that Alberto Del Rio was probably stabbed. It seems weird to like counterfeit pictures, but like obviously the story is probably not actually the story that he's telling. So like, it's possible that like, a kind of supplementary story. This is like a cover story for an actual stabbing that occurred, but for something that can't be reported.
Right. I mean, just go down the list of things that would prevent you from reporting your stabbing to the police.
Yeah, there's not a lot. They're all criminal. So I don't know. You have a very little bit of there's no real way to figure it out, and whatever, even if it's entirely fake, AAA has already said like we're okay behind Alberto Del Rio. So like, even if it's not real, it's too late now.
It is. Let me tell you, those two, Alberto and Paige, they're like they're trouble. They're getting all kinds of crazy mixed up adventures.
It's how they roll.
Apparently. It's you know what? They're probably a fun couple.
Yeah, they're probably the bar fights in Las Vegas kind of couple.
Yeah. Yeah, that like you can imagine the two of them almost killing each other on a regular basis.
Yeah. That seems actually pretty likely.
I'm telling you, I can't get enough Alberto Del Rio and Paige craziness news.
What if the story is that Paige stabbed Alberto Del Rio? That's why he didn't go to the police. Domestic violence episode, huh? They just made up a story.
You did just make up a story. Nobody tweet that. That's just speculation.
It's not even speculation. It's just a wild story.
I'm tweeting it. No, I'm not. All right, well, that's our doom and gloom news. Now we go to our special segment, which we always talk about. It's the TNA Death Watch. And this is a great example of... This has happened to us again and again and again, where we record this on Tuesday night Eastern Time, which is Wednesday morning Tokyo time. And like a day later, a major wrestling news story happens.
It always happens.
Always happens to us. Like once in a while, a news story will break on our time frame, but there's like one of those for every 5 big ones that happen like a day or 2 days after. This week's installment, or I should say last week's installment, was seriously the day after. Like one day, the audio has been rendered and is getting posted, and then we hear this news about TNA, and the news we hear is that now this is not definite. This is like reported in Forbes among other responsible periodicals. So this is not like speculation on the internet or on wrestling Twitter. So we'd talked about how WWE was interested in purchasing TNA's tape library, right? And we talked about, well, that would mean the end of TNA because they didn't want to. They're just going to buy them, use the tapes, and then whatever. So what the details that have emerged complicate that picture. What WWE allegedly, reportedly wants to do is buy the tape library, but that's it. Like they wouldn't get the trademarks, they wouldn't get whatever else TNA owns, what other assets there are, the contracts, the rings, whatever. Dixie or whoever would sell to the WWE and then sell all the other stuff that's not the tape library to Billy Corgan and whoever he can get the money for. So it's a double payday for Dixie. And Billy Corgan would use the money or would then like drop the TNA name, drop the Impact name, and with the TV contracts, he would relaunch and rebrand TNA. So
that seems like a pretty good idea, actually.
it's actually kind of a win-win when you think about it. I would love to get TNA content on the old network. Some TNA content. Let's be honest. And we have said that TNA needs to relaunch. It needs to rebrand itself if it's going to survive, because the TNA brand, the TNA name is basically worthless. People just, even though the product has gotten much better, like nobody is going to, people just think of it as this garbage promotion that tried to be WCW or tried to be WWE and failed.
Yeah, and I think Billy Corgan recognizes that at least. So, they might as well. I mean, and realistically, I don't think TNA currently has any big plans for their tape library. I mean,
no, right? What are they going to do with it?
They're going to sell the best of Hulk Hogan in TNA videos, best of Ric Flair in TNA, best of Sting in TNA. I mean, like, you could basically make a 15-minute video of all of those put together.
So the other interesting wrinkle about this is you would say, like, okay, so why is WWE interested in buying TNA? Is it just because Vince is a weirdo who wants to control everything? And the answer is yes, Vince is a weirdo who wants to control everything. However, there's actually a fiduciary aspect to this. WWE is tinkering with the idea of creating a tiered service for the network. So the idea would be the lowest price, the entry point, I think it's like $3.99, $4.99, less than what it is now. And that would get you like the pay-per-views and some clips, and it would be only like 3 months, right? Like whatever it is, $5 buys you 3 months and gets you some content, a very small amount of content. The $9.99 tier would be basically everything you get now. And then there'd be a third tier, $14.99 a month, which would get you everything you have now, plus TNA, plus some other content, and possibly, now this is really interesting, Ring of Honor. Supposedly, while they're looking to buy TNA's tape library, WWE is in talks with Ring of Honor, who they have a good relationship with, to license Ring of Honor content for the network. This would not be buying Ring of Honor. Let's be clear. This would be basically renting some of Ring of Honor stuff to make it available to network subscribers.
That seems doesn't Ring of Honor already have a streaming service?
Yeah, it's garbage though. It has like this crappy media player on their website that you have to use, and and like they take forever to put stuff up on it. Like it's not, if I were, I'd be much Ring of Honor, like, and I don't know how many people subscribe to it, but I'm guessing it's less than the 1.2 million that subscribe to the WWE network. In fact, I'm very confident it's significantly less than that. So the idea is they would, obviously 1.2 million people wouldn't pony up the extra $5 a month, but a lot of people would. I would, and Ring of Honor would get their stuff seen by a much larger audience, plus they'd get whatever the licensing fee would be. So I could see why they'd be interested in doing it.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. That's actually a good idea too. I think I hope that would happen. So it would make sense for them to want the TNA tape library for that.
Right, because if you want to get people to pay, if you're gonna like induce people to pay $5 extra a month, you really have to give them something that they don't have and can't otherwise get. And all of TNA's content plus a bunch of whatever Ring of Honor content they'd make available. And I'm guessing it wouldn't be like everything from Ring of Honor. I'm sure there'd be limits, and it would probably be like best ofs of guys like Seth Rollins, or Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn. But whatever it would be, it would be amazing to be able to get Ring of Honor matches on the WWE network.
Yeah, that would be, it would be cool if they did that and then like streamed the pay-per-views also on the network, because then they would be at least reliably streamed.
Yeah, that would be nice.
CZW should sign up for that.
Oh man, I would love to see CZW on the network.
CZW tape library. They can totally pimp that Dean Ambrose.
They could. They absolutely could. As Dean Ambrose was in the main event, of course, at No Mercy, and CZW was like on their social media. They were like, "Hey, Dean Ambrose fans, do you want to see him? Do you think he'll show No Mercy tonight? How about you check out his past?" And like the match they were offering as like the intro to like Dean Ambrose fans was like a barbed wire match with Nick Gage. Like, what are you doing? Like those like obsessive sex pervert Dean Ambrose fans, maybe they would like it. I don't know. I just scared myself thinking about it.
That,
Maybe they would like nothing more than watching like a bloodied Dean Ambrose fighting in a barbed wire ring with Nick Gage.
that sounds like the perfect way to introduce WWE fans to your wrestling promotion.
I know they kind of like it was a good idea to like, hey, we have a lot of Dean Ambrose matches, and Dean Ambrose is really popular. Let's see if we can get some WWE fans. But I don't know if that's the best one to.
Yeah, I mean, they should have put something with more explosions.
Right.
They haven't gone far enough.
They haven't gone far enough. But I was joking over in the old blog about possible WWE Network specials they could make with TNA's tape library. And one thing, as I was putting together, I was thinking, like one that would actually be kind of interesting. They would never do this, but one that would be kind of interesting would be TNA's most squandered talents. Because if you look at some of the people who were in TNA, that list includes Johnny Gargano, Santana Garrett, Matt Sydal, although arguably he was squandered by WWE, Roddy Strong, Seth Rollins when he was Tyler Black, the Young Bucks, Jack Evans, Okada,
yep,
in a horrible like chauffeur gimmick, CM Punk, Jimmy Jacobs, Marty Scurll, Chris Hero, Ivelisse, Xavier Woods, and many more. They had like I remember last year
Shinsuke Nakamura there for her like that.
He was
that
like
brief stint when New Japan had that relationship with TNA.
Yes, Nakamura. Yeah, they did that, and so Finn Balor also when he was Prince Devitt, because they had that like very brief, and that like CM Punk and I think Hero too were in it when Ring of Honor had like a relationship with TNA. Although it lasted longer than the New Japan one. The New Japan one I think was like a build up to a pay-per-view. Whereas the Ring of Honor thing was, I don't know, a couple months at least, maybe longer than that.
Yeah, the New Japan one, I think they had a relationship with them for about a year, and it was supposed to be longer, but like they sent a bunch of people over who they thought were like going to be big, but they needed more more exposure to other types of wrestling or whatever, and they sent people like Okada, and they brought him back early. They were just like, nope, not working out. So they canceled the thing, and then they started the relationship with all the other people, like Ring of Honor, for example, and wherever else in Mexico and the UK that they're teamed up with now.
Yeah, so but there were a ton of people who, and some of them had like, I wouldn't say long, but like more than just a couple matches here and there. Like the Young Bucks were in TNA for over a year as Generation Me.
Generation Me. And
and
then Jay Lethal was there as the Black Machismo.
Yeah, Jay Lethal was there. They kind of used him well. I wouldn't say like to his full potential, but like at least it wasn't like giving him a stupid chauffeur gimmick like Okada or whatever they did with Marty Scurll and Jack Evans. Like they've just until recently, they've actually used indie guys pretty well. Like the Wolves, I think, have done very well in TNA, and like Mia Yim. But yeah, there's so many like talented people came through there, and they just never knew what to do with them. I'd also like to see a table for three starring Garrett Bischoff, Brooke Hogan, and Bubba the Love Sponge. I think who are all, of course, important TNA players at one time or another. I'd like to see an entire DVD set of the King of the Mountain matches, and then I would like a bonus DVD where MIT professors try to explain the rules.
Nobody can explain it.
It would take a genius to explain it. But you know what? Honestly, I'd be kind of excited for WWE to acquire the TNA tape library. Like they're gonna do, as you said, they're gonna do more with it than TNA is. And man, if you could pay $14.99 a month and get everything you have now, plus TNA, plus Ring of Honor stuff, plus whatever else they're gonna throw in, then I'd be happy. You get an extra $5 from me a month, WWE, an extra 60 bones a year from me, definitely sold.
Yeah, I wonder if who else they would try to get deals with. Do you think New Japan?
Maybe.
I mean, it seems possible. I mean, New Japan's streaming service is not exactly a high quality affair either.
No, that's true. My guess is the money, like New Japan might want more money than WWE is willing to part with right now. I would guess before New Japan, they probably Evolve.
Oh, well, Evolve is like a no-brainer there because they have the. It's not like Evolve has a big library that they're streaming somewhere.
No, they've got like exactly, yeah. I mean, like you can go on the World Wrestling Network and like buy previous pay-per-views for like $10, but it'd be pretty. Although, what am I saying? Like I wouldn't watch the Evolve stuff.
Yeah.
I would, however, be excited for Ring of Honor, even if it was like old Ring of Honor stuff. Maybe more so for that.
The old Ring of Honor stuff would probably be pretty good to watch because there's a bunch of people on there that you'd want to see.
Yeah, and they could really. I mean, they have so many like Daniel Bryan and maybe they wouldn't want to promote the CM Punk stuff, but Samoa Joe and of course Tyler Black and Cesaro and a lot of the guys they have now really did significant stuff in Ring of Honor. Sarah Del Rey, who's the women's trainer in NXT. So Austin Aries, Roddy Strong is coming to NXT. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff to be mined there, I think. So that's the news. I guess nothing happens to the TNA Doomsday Clock, which is already at 11:58, because let's be honest, if WWE buys a tape library, the wrestling company itself will live on, but TNA, the brand, will be dead.
It's true. There'll be no more TNA. It'll be the actual death of TNA. Although, not a death of TNA in a bad sense. It'll be the death and rebirth of TNA.
The death and rebirth, that's right.
So, that would actually be a good result.
It would. The Doomsday Clock would strike midnight, but then it would be replaced by the hopeful chimes of morning.
It would be, it's the Armageddon thing where, Jesus returns and all the sinners die, and then there's like 1,000 years of peace. So we got the.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, is Billy Corgan the Messiah in this one? I don't know. That's a strange role for him.
Billy Corgan is not the Messiah, Tom. He's a rat in a cage.
That's right. Despite all his rage. So let's wrap things up. Let's just talk about No Mercy briefly. Now, I want to confess that I was distracted by the presidential debate, which was happening at the same time.
You and many others. I was at work, so... oh, wait, no, I wasn't at work. I had that day off.
Why didn't you? We could have coordinated our viewing.
That's true. I just didn't even think about it. I was just... I was home. I was home and everything. Unlike... I don't know what holiday it was, but it wasn't Columbus Day. But I had Monday off.
Be odd if you got Columbus Day off in Japan.
I think it was Sports Day or something like that. Not
Man, it's so ridiculous. All All right, well let's go down the list and real quick just do a recap and I'll say overall I liked this pay-per-view, although again I was distracted a little bit by the steel cage match happening in the debate stage. Am I right? Huh?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. That was if ever there was a need for an everybody leaves town match.
I know. Oh my god. Or like an ECW style run-in where like two better wrestlers, kind of like two better candidates would like run in and like start adding to the debate, and then eventually Trump and Clinton would disappear, and it would be down to like Bernie Sanders and someone else. Like,
Yes.
and another debate starts.
Yeah, that would be that would have been much better. This is why the real world should be more like wrestling.
It absolutely should. So the first match was like it was an 8-person tag.
8-man tag.
The Hype Bros and American Alpha beat the Ascension and the Vaudevillains, and I didn't hate it. I mean, an 8-man tag is always kind of a mess, and it just feels like the American Alpha. I don't know. It feels like for some reason you've taken the smartest kid in class, and instead of putting him in the gifted kid class, you put him in the slow kid class.
Kind of, yeah.
Like they outclassed these other guys, but it wasn't terrible. I mean, it wasn't. The Ascension, at least, they seem fired up lately, which is something.
Okay, yeah. I guess that's true. I mean, that's something at least.
And so not bad. I think we predicted that outcome with the good guys winning.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did. Although, wait, I don't think that was on the predictions. I don't
Oh,
think,
maybe you're right. Maybe we didn't even. Maybe they had added that one later.
I think that was added like last minute.
And then the first match, this was really interesting. Supposedly the first time in WWE history, the main event was the curtain jerker. AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose and John Cena, because they wanted to get it in before Monday Night Football and the start of the debate.
Yep.
So it was a good match.
What are you gonna? Yeah, like how are you gonna follow that up though?
Right, I know. Yeah, you're really starting the show, the showstopper. Although, as it would turn out, it was not the best match of the night, at least in my opinion. I thought it was a good match, and I was happy with the result. AJ Styles retained. I was surprised though. We had predicted John Cena.
That's true. Oh no, we predicted either John Cena would win. No, wait. We predicted that AJ Styles would win, but we wanted John Cena to win. Oh wait, that's what I said at least. I said I wanted John Cena to win, but I thought AJ Styles would retain.
I thought I said I'd be happy with either him or Styles winning, but I thought that Cena would win just because it sort of made some thematic sense. But I guess they're waiting to take the belt off AJ, which is fine with me. He's a good heel champ. He always has a good match. The only person I did not want to see win was Dean Ambrose, and he did not win.
So yeah, perfect. Now now it sets up a Cena Ambrose feud, and leaves AJ Styles to go wrestle other people. Hopefully.
It looks like AJ and Ambrose are going to be feuding, and who knows what Cena's going to be up to. And then there was Nikki Bella versus Carmella. I loved this match.
Match of the night. No, I'm just kidding.
It was pretty good. So I'll say this: Carmella is pretty limited. She really tries, but she's just not. I mean, it's not that she's bad. She's like too new to be bad. But she's improving. Whereas Nikki's gotten genuinely good. Like, I know people hate her, but like, just little things like the way she throws a forearm. Like, Nikki Bella's a decent wrestler. There's just no way around it. And this was a good match because it was sort of, there was heat coming into it because Carmella kept like jumping Nikki at like every possible moment, and so you kind of wanted to see Nikki get her revenge, and she did. Which we predicted. We called Nikki's victory. I liked it. I mean, it was short. It didn't go too long, but it was quick. There was a lot of action. It was all right. I mean, it was a solid B- match. Nothing wrong with that.
Yep, good stuff. It was all right. Much better than I expected it to be.
Yeah. And then Heath Slater and Rhino, the tag champions. This was kind of a surprise to me. They beat the Usos. We had predicted, I believe, the Usos would win.
Yeah, I think we might have. Although I don't remember what I said, but I picked Heath Slater and Rhino only because I hate the Usos and I don't want to give them any credit.
I,
But
I think we picked the Usos because we just assumed that at some point Rhino is going to have to go and run for office.
oh yeah, that's absolutely true. That's what we said. I didn't
But
remember.
but no, they won. And I'm happy they won because I was genuinely surprised. I thought they'd lose, but I really like the Heath Slater and Rhino tag team.
Yeah, I hope when they eventually lose, it's not to the Usos.
I will say that the Usos are pretty good as heels. I think you've got to admit they've come a long way.
I won't admit anything.
Your Uso-phobia is interfering with your judgment. They're pretty good heels. Although Mauro Ranallo has to stop calling them the Urban Usos.
Yeah, see, it's not helping.
I
But
don't.
but you see, Tom, it's not Usophobia because phobia is something that's irrational. If anything, your like of the Usos is irrational. So
No, they're good. They're as heels. I've liked them. I've come around. I got real bored of the good guy Usos, but I think they've been rejuvenated.
you're just a latent Uso fan. Just you liked them previously, and you're just more willing to like them again. You have you're an Uso apologist.
That's absolutely true. I am an Uso apologist, and I think it's because I basically I like all Samoan wrestlers.
All Samoan wrestlers, Tom.
Actually, I can't think of a Samoan wrestler I don't like.
Um, Big Umaga fan, are you?
Umaga was really good. I
Um,
will not listen to any criticism of Umaga.
Big Nia Jax fan.
Oh wait, that's a good one. She might be the only one.
Big uh wait, I don't know. I was gonna say Tamina Snuka, but I don't think she's Samoan.
No, she's from Tonga.
Tonga.
Um, I also Yokozuna liked him.
Was Yokozuna Samoan? I thought he was Hawaiian.
No, he's from the Inoue family.
Oh, okay.
Like every Samoan wrestler except Samoa Joe.
Okay.
Yeah. So no, you're right. So Tamina Snuka, not Tamina Snuka. Nia Jax is the one Samoan wrestler I don't like. I like all the others. I love Samoan wrestlers. But this match, it was a decent match. It was, I mean, like, there's nothing spectacular. It was mostly, I think, good because of the surprise finish with Slater and Rhino retaining. I got to be honest, the next match, Baron Corbin and Jack Swagger, I did not pay attention at all. I tried. It just bored the hell out of me, and I was riveted by the debate.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not really much you can do with like even if it was a great match, like there's no reason to care.
Yeah, I mean, like, Jack Swagger has not been relevant on TV in a long time. So it's just so hard to care about it. I mean, like, it's clear that he's just been brought into to make Baron Corbin look good, and I don't care all that much about Baron Corbin.
Yeah, I mean, like, who cares? Baron Corbin was not exactly, he's not exactly a showstopper. He's not someone who you're really interested in. You have no reason to be interested in the match. Like, there's no build up to it.
He he's like one of those guys. I feel like they brought him up too soon from NXT.
Yeah, I remember when he got brought up, we were like, why?
Because he was actually coming into his own there as like the guy who hated all the indie favorites, which to me in NXT is a great heel gimmick, right? Because all these people come in and everyone cheers, and then there's this one guy who's like, I hate all these people. I kind of like that. I thought he was doing really well with that, and you can't, like, it doesn't work as well in SmackDown. I mean, like, because there's not, it's just not the same environment. So that was a surprise to me, and they, as we feared, they like took him out of a character that he was sort of doing well in, and he's just a guy. Like, they don't have anything for him. He's just a dude.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of it, yeah.
And now he's a dude who beat Jack Swagger, so I guess good for him.
Yay. Oh, wait, Tom, I thought of another Samoan wrestler.
Who?
Well, Who was who were the guys in 3 Minute Warning?
3 minute warning. Oh yeah. Were they Samoan?
Yeah, Rosie. That's who it is.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I like those guys. I mean, maybe not 3 minute warning, but individually, they're all right. They were managed by Haku at one point. That's pretty cool.
What about when Rosie and the Hurricane?
Oh, I actually like that a lot. I love that gimmick. I liked anything with Shane Helms though. Yeah, and the other guy in 3 minute warning was Umaga.
Was it?
Fat 2. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Umaga was awesome. I'm not gonna listen to any trash talk about Umaga. So anyway, after the Baron Corbin Swagger Snooze Fest, match of the damn night, and I would say match of at least the Miz's career, possibly Dolph Ziggler's career as well. Ziggler versus the Miz for the Intercontinental Championship, and it was a loser leaves town essentially match with Ziggler putting his career on the line. And now, even though we correctly predicted this, that Ziggler would win, because obviously they're not going to. There was enough ambiguity about it because Ziggler had been mad about his contract and had been talking about maybe leaving. They actually got me really invested in the storyline. I was really interested to see what would happen, and this has honestly been the best feud in WWE recently. The Miz is so good at being a heel that even though Ziggler is, there's times when he's clearly not taking it seriously, he's just not putting much effort into it. The Miz just makes up for it because the Miz is such a dirtbag. You want to see Ziggler end up winning.
Yeah, I mean it was a surprisingly good match. You wouldn't really expect it, but it was really a good match. It was not only good because the story was good, but it was also actually a good wrestling match.
Yes, yeah, that was the surprising part. Who would have thought that in 2016 the Miz would be putting on legitimate 4-star matches? And he was good. I mean, the Miz was really good. Ziggler's a good wrestler, we know that, but the Miz is really he's really finally coming to his own, and he kind of knows what to do. And I mean, it's fun to watch the Miz wrestle, which is it's an odd thing to say, but it's totally true. I like watching the Miz wrestle lately.
It's strange world we live in.
It is a strange world we live in. That's maybe one of the most surprising things about 2016. Shinsuke Nakamura coming to WWE, all these things. But if you told me that at one point I would be really excited about a Miz Dolph Ziggler match, I'd be like, why? Do they both lose and quit?
Does somebody die?
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Does John Cena run in and beat the hell out of both of them? I'll be excited. But no, on its merits, great match. After that, Naomi beat Alexa Bliss in the definition of a whatever match. I just couldn't care. It was kind of a sloppy match. Dude.
I can't believe you didn't care about the Naomi Alexa Bliss match. 5
I like
stars.
both. I like 1 star for each minute of the match. I like both those wrestlers, but I don't know. This is so this was a weird spot because Becky Lynch. This was originally going to be a title shot for Alexa Bliss, but Becky Lynch has a non-wrestling injury, which we don't know much else about. So she at the last minute couldn't make it, and so Naomi came in as a replacement and got the win, which is good. It helps Naomi, I guess, but otherwise, I had no interest in this match. And then the final, not the main event, just the last match of the night. This was a shocker for the outcome because we had totally predicted Blandy Blorton winning because Bray Wyatt never win. This is a pay-per-view on which both Dolph Ziggler and Bray Wyatt won.
Yeah, talk about subverting expectations.
It wasn't a bad match, really. I mean, both these guys are good wrestlers, and there was some super cheesy stuff before the match where really reminded me of the Hulk Hogan Ultimate Warrior thing in WCW where Randy Orton was backstage and he looked in a mirror and his reflection was all distorted like a funhouse mirror. So cheesy. Don't do that.
That's like Hulk Hogan looking in the mirror at the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, exactly. But like, no one else could see the Ultimate Warrior, only Hulk Hogan, except everyone watching on TV could see. It's just
And the
so.
audience, yeah.
If you're gonna commit, you got to go all the way. You got to have like a final deletion type thing where
You,
nothing makes sense.
yeah, you have to delete and or DK.
But whatever, it was an all right match. But I just by that point I was watching the debate full on, and I would occasionally glimpse back, and I was just shocked to see Bray get the win because Luke Harper came back.
Yeah.
Which was a welcome return. Glad to see Luke Harper back. That dude's awesome.
There'll be some more Wyatt family action, I guess.
Finally, some more Wyatt family action. And actually, that reminded me of something we should have brought up in the TNA Death Watch.
Yeah.
Real quickly. They shoot all their TV in advance, and they're shooting. First week of November, they're going to be shooting the final episode of 2016, final Impact episode of 2016. It's going to take place entirely on location in beautiful Cameron, North Carolina, at Matt Hardy's house. That's right. The compound that you know from Final Deletion and Delete or Decay. Prepare the battlefield for massacre. The whole episode, the whole hour-long episode, is just going to be like a crazy, like nightmarish adventure at Matt Hardy's house. It's called Total Nonstop Deletion. It's he's describing it he's describing it as Tag Team Apocalypto.
Awesome.
Falls count anywhere on Matt Hardy's property. And he cut a promo. This is, I guess, a spoiler, but whatever. It's not like there's any out. They haven't filmed it yet. Where he invited the Young Bucks, the Rock and Roll Express, the British Bulldogs, and the New Day. Now, of those three teams, we can be pretty sure the British Bulldogs won't be there, considering one of them is dead and the other one is in a wheelchair. We can be pretty sure the New Day won't be there because they're under contract to WWE, and we can be pretty sure the Young Bucks won't be there because they're under contract to Ring of Honor. It is tantalizingly possible that the Rock and Roll Express will be there, though.
I'd be happy with the Rock and Roll Express showing up.
60-year-old Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson.
Perfect.
I'd enjoy that. I would like. They do. They still like make the rounds at like conventions and stuff. So it's possible.
I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna bring back somebody who's like, in their 60s, having them be in something like a Final Deletion type of thing where you can like heavily edit it to make them look awesome.
It makes sense.
It makes total sense.
Yeah.
And this is basically the only way they could bring back Goldberg and have it be entertaining.
Oh my God, like a Goldberg Brock Lesnar fight at Lesnar's ranch. I'd enjoy that. Then I'd be excited. Then I would be really interested.
Yeah, if they were gonna do that, I'd be real excited. I'd watch that. But this seems like it's gonna be like one of those like weird kind of Falls Count Anywhere. So like it just seems like it's gonna be like 20 dudes running around outside, running into each other, doing like bizarre things. It's gonna be like a Final Deletion war.
Yeah, I mean, it should be really good.
Ricky Morton's gonna throw somebody off a scaffold.
Allegedly, TNA is contacting teams who are not signed with TNA, and along with TNA, presumably all the TNA tag teams will participate. So it's a relatively short list of tag teams who are not signed to WWE or Ring of Honor who could participate, but I mean, like I guess they could go like real deep in the indie world and get like the Hooligans or something, which I would love, but who knows?
Team Pazuzu.
Team Pazuzu. Oh my God, I would love if Team Pazuzu showed up. You had mentioned the Ant Colony. That would make sense. Ant
Colony. See, that would be good. You could have like they could all crawl out from under the dilapidated boat.
The Hit Squad. They would be welcome.
Crime Time.
Crime Time. They could do it.
The Headbangers.
Yeah, I guess the Headbangers probably. I'm trying to think like whoever showed up at King of Trios, really.
Demolition.
Yeah, Demolition. Demolition could definitely do it. Man, Demolition versus Rock and Roll Express, the match we all wanted to see at the time.
It's like 30 years too late, but
I'd say it's much too late, but hey. But it's not just a tag team apocalypto, whatever that means. There's also some other stuff planned for it. This really sounds like a fun episode. We're we're promised the in-ring debut of Maxwell, who is Matt Hardy's 1-year-old son.
awesome.
And we're also promised a match with Rosemary, a knockouts match. Spoiler alert: avert your ears. The upcoming tapings, Gail Kim loses her title to Rose. But the knockouts title is changing hands way too often, in my opinion.
Always changes hands, like every
It's like
week.
every week there's a new champion. But maybe the thing that I'm most excited about is there's going to be a match between Grado and a kangaroo, and kangaroo is the reincarnated version of the boxer Smokin' Joe Frazier.
Okay. I don't know what that is going to even look like.
Total nonstop deletion. I'm so excited for this. I mean, it's also funny because in his native Scotland, in Insane Championship Wrestling and stuff, Grado is like the top babyface. He's like a huge draw. People love him. And like here in the U.S., he's fighting a kangaroo.
But we've also got Decay versus the Helms Dynasty is also going to be there.
If this is like the last TNA show as TNA, it's the best way to go out.
It's yeah, it couldn't be better than that, really. You know, they already proved that the final deletion wasn't going to be like a one shot deal. That was,
yep.
You know, like because Deleter Decay was awesome too. So it just goes to show you that this is going to be more awesome. This is like, I think that this is going to be awesome, and it's a very like, this seems exactly like the kind of things that the Hardy Boys would make. Like my mental image of the Hardy Boys, in that they're like backyard wrestlers from West Virginia.
Yeah, I mean, like they're like legit weird hillbillies, but like, and people never think of them that way. Like, if you talk about hillbilly wrestlers, like people think of the Briscoes, and that's accurate. But the Hardys in their own, like, if you've never lived in like redneck America, you don't know this, but there are people like weird artsy rednecks who like dreamed of being comic book artists, and most of the time they don't have an outlet for their creativity, so they just like paint weird psychedelic Spider-Men in their kids' bedroom walls. But the Hardy Boys are those guys who did have an outlet for their creativity, and it's this.
Yes, and it's great. It's only sad that it took so long.
I know it is, but maybe they wouldn't have been as. I mean, they've had like, this feels like now they're doing their peak work as wrestlers, yeah, I couldn't be happier. Really, they're sort of like slowly morphing into the American version of DDT Pro. It's only a matter of time before they have like wrestlers dressed as animals, like hitting each other with tricycles.
That's worth it. I'd watch it.
It's worth it.
That's basically Chikara.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, well, yeah, but like, there's a weird, like, dark undercurrent to it that I think is too much for Chikara.
That's true. But wrestlers dressed as animals, that's basically Chikara.
Yeah. I mean, also kind of like, there's a surreal element that I think DDT Pro does that well that's starting to, like, definitely leach into it. DDT Pro would have had the boat be a wrestler.
That's true.
But it's close. That's one of the reasons I love Kota Ibushi. I consider him like the greatest artist in wrestling right now, because it's like, yeah, okay, I'll be in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, prestigious, huge, high-profile thing, but first, I'm gonna dress up like a toaster and wrestle a dark match in Japan. Like, he just does whatever he wants. He's a nut. I love it.
Yeah, that's I mean, it's probably not so great for his his pay, I'd
That is
assume.
probably true.
But I
That's
assume
probably true.
also that because he was, in like two wrestling promotions consistently and like has like a modeling career and a book out, like he's not really hurting for money. So like he probably is just like, you know what? I'm probably making enough money right now. Fuck it, I'm just gonna do whatever the hell I want, and it's great. It's delightful. He has nothing to lose.
I love it. We got to get him and Broken Matt Hardy together.
That would be awesome. Kota Ibushi shows up, wrestles the boat.
Wrestles the boat. That's right. He doesn't wrestle anyone else. He wrestles the boat.
The boat would win.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he would do the honors of the boat. He wouldn't. He had no problem jobbing to the boat.
Absolutely.
Um. So I think that's it for this week. Real quickly, you're going to a New Japan show later this month. That's exciting.
I am. I'm going on the 30th at Korakuen Hall. I will be there. It's gonna
Very
be
nice.
it was a very thoughtful birthday present to me.
That is super nice. So that's tonight, fucking o'clock at.
Tonight fucking o'clock at Korakuen Hall.
That's awesome. I don't have anything coming up this week. Next week I might go to a local indie show, but I have bought my tickets for the next Beyond Wrestling show, which is November 6th. So it's not too far away. And I was looking at the Twitter account for Beyond Wrestling, and somebody was asking him how long this show is going to go, and he's like, "Oh, I think it's going to be 20 to 25 matches."
That's like a 10-hour show.
Dude, I can't there's no seating. It's all standing. I like this promotion a lot, and I like wrestling a lot, but what are you doing to me? I mean, like 20 to 25 matches, and I gotta go to work the next day. So this is it's a tournament, and it's essentially a double header, Women's Wrestling Revolution and Beyond Wrestling, but instead of doing two shows broken up, it's going to be both shows, just like one match after the other. But you know what? Honestly, for two shows, 20 matches is too much. 8 matches should be the limit of a show.
Yeah, 25 shows, 25 matches. They better be short matches.
Oh my god. They're trying a new thing too, where they instead of one long intermission, they do a bunch of smaller intermissions, which in theory sounds good, but I like the long intermission because it means I can go get dinner.
Yeah, a bunch of short intermissions sounds like it's gonna be not quite so good because like it's too short to do anything. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to go and everything, but I'm just saying 20 to 25 matches is asking an awful fucking lot of your audience. People are going to be so tired and burned out by the end.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, that doesn't sound like it's gonna be a hot day.
And I'm going by myself too. Nobody else wanted to go with me, and I kind of understand why. As good as the matches are going to be, 25 of them, that's overkill.
Yeah, wow. That's a lot.
But so that's what we have coming up. In the meantime, of course, if you're interested in more hot content from us, you can always check us out. closetofanxiety.tumblr.com, hawkageandjoe.tumblr.com. There's always fresh wrestling content. I posted a funny political exchange on Twitter Gail Kim had, among other things. A real bloody Christopher Daniels photo. A lot of good content. You can also check us out on Twitter. I'm at TJ Breen. Joe is at XCornMuffinX. If you found this YouTube channel, you can find his Twitter account. As always, if you like the show, leave a comment. We're pretty responsive. At least Joe's pretty responsive. Every once in a while, I'm responsive. Or hit us up on Twitter, or give us a thumbs up.
in the opposite thing there, if you hit us up on Twitter, expect Tom to reply and expect me to never see it.
That's right. Yeah. So either way, like YouTube, you'll get Joe. Twitter, you'll get me. It's up to you. Or Tumblr, both of us will probably see it sooner or later. And again, 3 Moves of Doom. It's a book. You should get it. It's real good. You'll enjoy it if you like wrestling.
Yeah, I'll link it in the comments in the about section below. I guess you can get a direct link.
Get a direct link. You don't have to work hard for it. You just click and then buy. Or if you're going to be in the Worcester, Massachusetts area this weekend, and I don't know how many of you that is, but if it's any of you, I will be at the Rock and Shock convention. It's a horror convention. There's also music, hence the Rock. And I'll be selling copies of the book, plus the other Orphan Parish books releases. I'll be with 2 other dudes selling a bunch of horror stuff. There'll be buttons. There'll be postcards. I'm hoping Gangrel will be there because he's been at this thing in the past, and I want to get a picture of him holding up a copy of the book and, exposing his vampire fangs.
Yeah, I think that would be perfect. If you can get Gangrel with a copy of the book in hand, fangs bared, fangin' and bangin'.
Fangin' and bangin'. I don't know that he'll be there. He's not listed among the guests, but they don't list all the guests.
It seems like right up his alley, though.
Totally is. Usually there's some wrestlers there, so if you like wrestling, come by. If you like horror, come by. If you like rock, come on.
Yeah, you can meet that guy from Pantera.
Yeah, the Nazi guy from Pantera, he'll be there. That's awesome. That's great. That's okay. So maybe that's not so great, but I'll be there, so you can come say hi to Pepper Tom.
Yeah, do it. I don't know how many of the people who are listening are in the New England area, but if you happen to be there, where is Rock and Shock in Worcester?
It's in beautiful Worcester.
In Worcester.
Come Saturday or Sunday though, because I won't be there Friday night.
Worcester, Massachusetts. Don't hesitate to go buy copies of my books only.
That's right. I'll have copies of Joe's books, and and I'll be with 2 dudes who also have good books for sale. So, but again, I won't be there Friday. So if you come Friday night, you can buy the book, but you won't be buying it from me.
It'll just be a different set of people selling books. You won't even recognize that that Tom was supposed to be there, except for the.
They're not even wrestling fans. The other 2 guys.
Yeah, see, you wouldn't even be able to talk to them about wrestling. You'd have to. You'd ask them questions about the book, and they'd be like, "I don't know, there's wrestling in there." But you wrote one of those stories.
Although if Gangrel is there, that'd more than make up for it.
Yeah. Although I haven't said this to you, but if that dude from the original The Hills Have Eyes is there, try and get him to hold up a copy of A Little Oren, because he's basically a character.
That's true. That is true. All right. I think that's it for this week. Thanks, everybody. We'll be talking to you next week. And we'll undoubtedly be talking about the major news that will break tomorrow, because it always happens to us.
Absolutely. So we will see you guys next time.